Now, one other comment that I can make that goes along these lines. I don't know the circumstances behind what happened to you. Okay. What I can tell you is that if we're riding with a flatter chassis, if you were mindful of that, you may not have had maybe as much weight on the front tire. Okay, so if you had, I mean, obviously you're going to the turn, you have some weight on the front tire, and I'm not blaming you. What I'm saying is, if you're keeping the chassis flat and you're keeping a little bit more rearward weight, now you're in the active part of your suspension, and because what happens is then it might be able to soak up even a nasty bump, because if you bottom the forks and hit that nasty crack or whatever it is, then you're going to lose traction potentially. And that may be sort of your situation. I don't know for sure. What I can say is we were on a really twisty road in Pennsylvania. That's where we like to ride in New York. New York's got some good roads, but really good stuff. You get down to Pennsylvania a couple hours away from home. And this one road is such a nice road, but the pavement was really crap. And I just remember going into this right-hander, and there was just two big, they were potholes. It was more like a pothole is a hole. This was more like a stretch of pavement. And because I was doing my thing with the trail braking and coming in slower, not as fast as speed, I felt I hit the sucker, and I thought I was going down, and I hit the bottom stops. I bottomed my forks, but the motorcycle kept upright. I may have maybe left my lane a little bit. I can't really remember as much. I just know I made it through that one. But it seems like a similar situation. You're hitting this thing that motorcycle is not supposed to take this bump at this speed, leaned over, and then you just lose the front end, and you try to say, well, what could I be doing there? Now, another thing, my one friend he hit gravel. It looked like they had chip sealed, and they swept it up, and they had painted the lines. We thought we were, home free. Well, he hit the grader must have left a really thick patch right in the turn, and he hit it, and it took him down. And he said, what could I have done differently? What can I have done differently? And there's really not a whole lot you can do differently. But what I told him was he likes to lean. And again, even if he was using the straight principle, he probably could have had trouble, because you're asking the tire to hold the line, and you're going to go through gravel.
Right.
It was graded poorly there. It was not just loose gravel. It was actually channeled there by, what I would think neglect in the Department of Transportation. But I said, listen, the only thing I can say in that instance is, if you're in a straighter, if you have your motorcycle in a straighter position, you can maybe regain easier if you lose traction. Also, one of the things that you learn as you look at different types of motorcycles, one of the reasons why we want to be vertically straight as well as the suspension. The suspension can handle bumps better vertically versus leaned over. Now, the suspension will work leaned, but it will work better up and down. So if your motorcycle in that turn was perhaps a little more vertical, could it have been the thing that kept you up? You know what I mean? It's like, don't know, wasn't there, you're the only one, and maybe not. We don't know. But that's why, I try to tell my friends, or like my one friend there, or people I talk to, straight and flat's going to give your suspension the best chance to do its thing. In the straighter principle is going to help you if you get a little bit loose. You're going to have time to react. Whereas if you're at max lean angle, it just happens before you know it. Now, like I said, my friend could have been, vertically upright going through that turn, handlebar steering, and hit that stuff and gone down, because, you need traction to change direction. And he didn't have traction for that moment, which is kind of interesting, because I was right in front of him and I went through the same turn. My line was different. And I could have hit that line too. What would have happened? We don't know. But it didn't work out for him. So